Welcome to Back to Iwatodai, my review of the Persona 3 movies. This month, we're covering the second movie, Persona 3 Midsummer Night's Dream. And let me just say before I get into it, this might be the best of the movies. While watching this, I genuinely got sucked in and engrossed in the action, and I also genuinely got emotional and nostalgic. I literally just played the game last year. As always, in the description is a link to a watch-along with me, if you want to hear my unfiltered, raw, in-the-moment reactions. This movie covers the in-game events of July 7th through October 4th, which also surprised me while watching. Mentally, I had prepared myself for the movie to end with the September full moon, as that would fit the length of summer, and keep the structure relatively the same across all four movies. This mental unpreparedness definitely factored into my emotional reaction to the end of the movie. The movie also shocked me by jumping right into the action on July 7th. It starts off midway through the full moon operation, showcasing the effect the Lover's Arcana is having on Yukari and Makoto. I like Yukari with her hair down like this. Yep. I've sustained some damage. After taking down the Shadow for the month, we get our first shot of Strega, and man, is this an excellent way of introducing them. Having them already be monitoring us makes them appear way more intimidating, and that intimidation factor is only amplified by the underlighting. You gonna apologize? Oh. Stupid. You mean about the shower? Strega! We also immediately head to Yakushima, with next to no explanation about why. And I actually get to experience the P3P version of Operation Babe Hunt, complete with Kashiwagi-sensei from P4. They also restructure the events of the trip to flow better, too. Now, instead of each important story beat taking place on 3 separate days, everything happens in one. I actually like this change, especially since it gives you an amazing action shot of Aigus taking out some shadows. Damn, I like this change actually. He did. Next. Yumi! Damn, I guess it's cracked. What the fuck? This insert song rules. Damn, there goes the blue dress. While the gang is off having a summer blast, we get a look into Shinji's interactions with Strega, and the first major divergence in character that I could find. In-game, Ken seemed kind of standoffish and cold when introduced to the gang, but here, he starts to look up to Shinji, and seems to enjoy being a kid more. There's this really cool movie-only moment showing exactly when Ken awakens to his persona, and it draws parallels to when Makoto awakens his. I noticed a lot while watching, actually, that Ken and Makoto are very alike. They both lost their parents in an accident involving shadows and personas. They both appear pretty apathetic to the world and others at first, but they also have a strong heart and want to protect their friends. And ultimately, they both begin to open up to the crew. It's kind of joked about in the community that everyone in Cease seems like coworkers and not very much like friends, but good friend of the channel Daffinator actually made a video that I agree with, describing the relationship more like a found family. Go check out that video, by the way. We support our friends around these parts. I mentioned in my watch-along that the summer parts of the movie were making me nostalgic, and I think it might have to do with what I'm writing and recording this. See, summer's ending IRL, so watching these characters I spent real-world time with experience the beach and the end of Summer Festival really does pull on my heartstrings and make me long for my lazy days once again. What actually surprises me is that all of these end of summer shenanigans take place after the group's first interaction with Strega during the August full moon. If I had any complaint about the movie, it's that even though it follows a well-crafted 3-act structure, the middle act is pretty forgettable. I think it's a curse Persona games have in general, actually. In-game, August is just a really slow month. There's no school to go to, so most social links are absent, and especially in P3's case, it drags on between those full moons, with small party moments to try and fill the lull. The movie kinda does this too. We get a quick shot of Makoto interacting with the social links, which I've been informed by you commenters is the most I'll get, which is disappointing. My favorite of these summer scenes is actually one I discovered before even knowing what Persona was. Shinji's cooking? Yes! I've seen this scene before! I've seen this scene before!
Ora, gohan da zo. Oh, atsukatta ka? Gomen yo. Yoshi, yoshi. Yukkuri taberu n da. Umai ka?
The big softy. The classic. I saw this before I even knew what Persona 3 was. Like I said, this movie does follow a 3-act structure, and boy howdy is that 3rd act almost perfect. The main point of conflict is sort of an acknowledgement by the cast that the Dark Hour gives them a sense of purpose, so they start to become conflicted over defeating the shadows thanks to Strega's influence. We also get some expanding on the Persona suppressants, and how Ken comes to realize that Shinji was the one to blame for his mother's death. There's some excellent action shots of the October 4th full moon, and it really goes to show how important this day is as a tonal shift for the story. I talk about it a little more in depth in the moment, but I'm looking forward to how the tone of the remaining 2 movies can be lightened in any way, especially that last one. Emotionally, I was hit by a truck with the ending of Midsummer Night's Dream, and that's even with knowing what was going to happen. It just goes to show how impactful of an event October 4th really is, that people who know can still be emotionally impacted. I'm talking about Koromaru's famous October 4th backflip, if you couldn't tell. But honestly, I think this might be the best one so far, even with the bit of the lull in the middle. The action scenes were well animated, to the point that I became so engrossed that I barely spoke during the fight scene with the Fortune Arcana. Next month, I'll be reviewing Persona 3, Falling Down. But if you can't wait that long for more content like this, I've got an entire backlog of Persona 3 every day, as well as some longer form videos. I hope you all enjoyed this trip back to Iwatodai, and I'll see you in the next one. Memento Mori.